Let's talk about synchronicities, coincidences, and the relationship to the simulation hypothesis or the simulation theory, which basically is, in other words, simulation theory equals the Matrix, the movie The Matrix, that we are living inside a computer simulated reality, and everything, the nature of it is information. Everything is information based and everything is code. What you see in front of you right now, my body, is just code that is translated to your as an optical illusion, saying this is a human being, this is a person. So of course there's a lot of theories on that. There's the Mandela effect. There's so many things out there that, you know, they're just fun to mess around with. We'll talk about Mandela effect maybe in another video, right? It's a wacky theory, but it nevertheless fun to dabble around with. Anyway, so the Hindus knew about this shit. They called it Maya. This is, in other words, another way of saying this is an illusion, this is a simulation. And when I first started to entertain the idea that we live inside a computer simulation, that we live inside like a mathematic-based, code-based reality, is when I started to be aware of coincidences and synchronicities in my life. When I started to be aware of them, you know, I'd look around, having just experienced something like a type of synchronicity where I met someone in the most unlikely scenario, or, you know, so I just met a person and exactly what I needed in my life right now they had, or exactly what they needed in their life I had, whether in the form of words, maybe a job, maybe something. This happens a lot if you become in tune with the dimension of synchronicity and coincidence, and you realize there's no coincidences or synchronicities in this business. Synchronicity is simply the way of things, because it is all simulated. It's all mathematical based reality. So when I start to have all these synchronicities and coincidences happen in my life, you know, my logical mind goes to work, says, well, how is this possible? And, you know, after some time of questioning and inquiring, it has to be a fucking simulation. It has to be a mathematical simulation where somebody, and this somebody could be like a higher self, it could be your spirit guides, you know, something out there, if not of this physical flesh dimension, physical existence. It had to be that, okay, let's say I'm meant to meet somebody. Then it had to be in my character, my DNA, if you will, my plot, my storyline, somebody programmed this stream of consciousness will meet this stream of consciousness at this time and at this place. How else do these synchronicities happen? How else do these coincidences happen? I don't know. I don't know. It has to be a written code, something. It is written, maktub, like in the book Alchemist, right? Maktub. And you know, like, you might ask yourself, so is everything written then? Like, are we just playing along a script? Possibly. Possibly not. Possibly you can interfere with the script and rewrite it. But when you rewrite it, you still go through the mathematical simulation of synchronicity and coincidence. Meaning, let's say you're just going on about your life right now. Right? And really, you're just going on mathematically about it. I mean, everybody really is. Everybody's going in living in a simulated type existence anyway. You know, they get up, they go to work 5 times a week, drive at the same time. Like, I have roommates here. I know their schedule on point because they both work full-time jobs. In many ways, everybody's living a clearly simulated reality as is. But the idea that even when you interfere, so let's say I interfere, I say, okay, I now wanna make more money. And you set the intention and you release it to the universe, to the consciousness software, right? You release it into this thing. Then this consciousness software does the recalculates, okay, intent, more money, and now you, quote unquote, run into people and coincidences and synchronicities with people and events and circumstances that give you more money, that give you more wealth, that maybe you run into a business partner and like you run into them in the most unlikely situation, which happened to me before. It happened to me before, right? And it happened right around the time I set the intention. At the time, it was very unconscious, but now looking back at it, I set the intention, next thing you know, boom. So it seems that your intention sends out a message to the consciousness software, and then the consciousness software will recalculate. So recalculating, just like a computer, right? Recalculating, all right. So now we find that for your current intent and your current circumstance, the most optimal person for you to meet, the most optimal situation for you to be in is X, Y, Z person, scenario, situation. And because at the same time, the consciousness software does the calculation, it turns out that X, Y, Z circumstance, situation, person, you happen to be perfect for them at that time. And so the idea is that with your intention, this is what alchemy is. With your intention, you can work with this consciousness software, this simulation, and it'll just do the recalculations, and now, boom, you're meeting into new synchronicities, into new coincidences. You see? Really crazy. I've dabbled a lot with this in my own like personal life. If I'm like in a mood where I want to flirt with chicks, I want to talk to chicks, before you know it, like every day I walk out of my house, there's like a fucking coincidence, right? I run into somebody and we end up having a conversation, or like we flirt or something. Really weird. And then when I don't set the intention anymore, like, okay, no, I'm feeling something else, it doesn't happen anymore. It just doesn't happen anymore. Like next thing you know, you guys know this too, right? Like sometimes you have like periods where you're on fire as far as your dating life goes, and other times where it's dry. They call it a dry spell. That's just your intention. All it is, like you intended, you want to make some sweet loving, and the universe responds by setting up mathematical encounters with other people that are also thinking the same thing. You see, and are looking for the same thing. Then you intend, okay, you know, maybe I don't want to be making sweet loving right now. You don't have these coincidences anymore. Either you don't see them or they don't happen because the computer does the recalculations. And now it's like whatever is your intent and whatever is your thought, it recalculates and sets you up with new circumstances, new events, new people that meet your current state of affairs, your current thoughts, the things that are taking up most of your energy and your thought process. So if you're someone who's focused on career right now, you're probably gonna have a lot of coincidences and synchronicities to meet other people in your field or opportunities like that, right? It's fucking crazy. It's crazy, but it's mathematical. It's pretty clear that this whole thing is mathematical. And coincidence and synchronicity is your own personal proof that we're living in a simulated reality. You don't really need science, or you don't need the Hindus or any religion to tell you that this is an illusion or this is a simulation. You need to experience it for yourself. Play around with your intent. Start to play around with your intent. So set an intent for this week. You know what? My intent is, I want to meet chicks today, for this week. Just experiment, right? And then watch what happens. Guarantee you'll start to run into all kinds of coincidences with chicks. Then after that 1 week gone, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to set different intention. You're playing around here. You're experimenting. Let me experiment here. Let me experiment with maybe you need something in your career, right? Or your school. Set an intention and watch the people you meet. Be very mindful. Record down the people you meet, the circumstances, this and that. And you'll see that, like, this is fucking magical. It really is magical. It really is a magical place. It's clearly mathematical. And coincidence is the proof. Synchronicity is the proof. So, maybe I give you guys something to think about in this video. You watching my video right now, It's not a fucking coincidence. It isn't a coincidence, okay? We have found each other, me as the annoying preacher, you as the annoyed watcher, through mathematical manipulation or mathematical determination, you know, and this is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. The very fact that this is happening right now, that I'm still rambling and you're still listening, this is not by accident. You know, it's written in the script. It is written, maktub. So that's it. God bless you all. I love every single one of you guys. But don't forget to subscribe, or it's simulated, you know, it's simulated, it's mathematically written. You're gonna sleep with the fishes. So subscribe.